Hi everyone, this is Dario from Palo Alto Prisma Access. Today we're going to talk about how to configure SAML authentication with the Prisma Access using Azure as a identity provider. And we're going to use the Azure Active Directory natively. There is another use case. You can integrate your Active Directory on-prem with the Active Directory in Azure. Then you can use SAML with your firewall and with your Prisma Access as well. But our case today, we're going to use Azure Active Directory natively in Azure, and we're going to active Azure SAML as an identity provider and integrate it with the Prisma Access. We're going to use as well the Global Protect as a test application, and the final test will be from the end user in the VMware workstation. We're going to test the Global Protect, how we're going to use the Azure SAML authentication method. So we will start with the Azure first, so let's get started. I'm in Azure portal here. As you can see, I will go first to the Active Directory. This is the Active Directory, which is Azure Active Directory they call it. So first of all, I create the user here. I will go with the new user and I will select the user, for example, user 01. Then will be the name user1 as well, first name, and you can do the password here. You're gonna use this password, and after that just create. So we're gonna use this user for test the Global Protect application through the SAML authentication method. So once it's done here, go to home again and looking for enterprise application. Here we can install the Global Protect. So in the application or enterprise application, looking for new application and just write it down here, Palo Alto. In Palo Alto, looking for Global Protect, this application. And you can change the name here, just hit create. Alright, the application has been done here, as you can see here. The Global Protect from Palo Alto in Azure here and ready to set up. Just go to the setup single sign-on here, this option, get started, and just pick the SAML protocol. From this page, you're gonna change the basic SAML configuration, 3 options here. So all this option, you need the portal URL first. So we go to Prisma Access. This is a Prisma Access managed by Panorama. So from here, just go to the network details, and in the network details, you can see the mobile user Global Protect, and you're gonna see the portal URL from here. So this is the portal URL from here. I copy this URL back to Azure. I will go with edit. Then as you can see here, the first identifier, you need to add the URL. So just put it my URL here, and should be start with the HTTPS. And at the end here, you need to put it colon 443 and SAML, and 2.0 is supposed to be, because this is 2.0, but here there is no dot, so 2.0/SP, right? So this is the first identifier you need to add. So I'm gonna copy this one as well, and I go a little bit down and I add the reply URL. Should be the same, but you need to add only /ACS, which is the insertion in the SAML URL reply. Once it's done here, so you need the final URL, which is the sign-on URL. So I just copy that one and put it in the sign-on URL. So you need to change the 3 parameter inside here. Just hit save here, and once it's saved, your SAML authentication almost completed. As you can see here, save, sign on, and configuration. What do you need now? You can test, but there is no user assigned to this application, so you need to assign user, which is just the same user, user1 we've been created earlier here. So you just go to the user and group, and add user to that application, which is a global protect. So you just go to select user and looking for user 1. This is the user we're going to test it in the global protect. I select that user and just select assign. Make sure the user here and the user in the group and the Palo Alto Network Global Protect. The final setup here in Azure, you need to go back to the sign on here. From single sign on page, you go a little bit down. You can see here the metadata XML file and download this file. This file is very important. You can download it anywhere in your computer. We're going to use this file to import this information to Prisma Access in order to match all the information with the SAML Azure, like a certificate, all the kind of information to integrated identity provider, which is Azure, with Prisma Access. All right, with that being said, the configuration in Azure side is completed. Let's jump into Prisma Access. Again, this is a Prisma Access managed by Panorama. So once you are here in Prisma Access or Panorama, go to the device, and from device you go to the server profile. From the server profile, go to the SAML identity provider. From here, we're going to add the SAML server profile. We don't use add because we have a metadata just now we downloaded. So we just go to import. From the import, you can give any name here. I will go with the SAML Azure, and I will go to browse, and I will go to the metadata file just now .xml file. I don't want validate, and just hit OK. So this is make the integrated very easy from the Prisma Access perspective, because as you can see here, once when you upload this metadata, the identity provider information is set up here, appearing here in front of you as well, the SSO service URL as well. So everything completed here. Go to the authentication profile. In authentication profile, you can add a new profile. I will call it as well Azure SAML Auth. Then I will pick the type will be SAML. Then I will as well pointing to the SAML Azure as a IDP server profile. And you can go to advanced as well and add all the user. You can also test for one specific user as well. I will gonna put all here. Once it's okay here, your server profile is ready. Inside the authentication provider is ready as well. So what we're gonna do now, we just go to the network and go to the portal. In the portal here, you just go to the authentication as well and add another authentication method, which is Azure SAML. I will copy this name because I'm gonna use this name. And after that, you pick the authentication profile just now we created, which is Azure SAML Auth. And from this options for test purpose, you just select yes, which is mean either way, user credential or client certificate required. If you put a default, you need both of them, certificate and user credential. But right now I go with the easy way to test. Then once it's done here, just okay. Don't forget to make this profile as a first priority by make this one up from this option, move up. So here done with the portal, we're gonna do the same thing with the gateway. Also we go to the authentication, and from authentication go to the add, also Azure SAML, and pick the Azure SAML authentication profile, and don't forget to put it yes option for either way certificate or credential. And I will move that one up and I save the configuration. Awesome. After that, once it's completed in Prisma Access side Panorama, hit commit and push. Once the save completed, we're gonna go to the user side and check the global protect using SAML authentication. All right, this is the user PC. I tried to log in here in order to test the global protect using SAML. This is the global protect. This is the global protect. I will try to connect it here. So the global protect work and connect it to the SAML Azure. As you can see here, I will put it the username and password here. All right, this is the username, and next I put it the password and sign it and connect it. Now, as you can see, we can connect it with the user one. As you can see here, user one at the domain inside the Active Directory in Azure. So we'll go back to Panorama here very quick to monitor and see the traffic and select the mobile user and see the result. As you can see here, user one, I can capture it here as the source username and as well the source IP. If you go to the global protect and see what the information come from, as you can see, user one as well. If you want to make sure the SAML authentication method is work, for the authentication method, the SAML, as you can see here, authentication method, they pointing to SAML protocol and show us the username as well, and through the global protect. All right, this is all about. Thank you for watching.